Hi, welcome to the next episode of VCF Breakroom Chats. I'm Tako Inishi, Product Marketing Engineer at Broadcom, and I lead product marketing for VCF Automation, which is a core component of VCF that powers the private cloud self-service experience. And in today's episode, I'm really excited to speak with Drew Nielsen, Head of Value Tooling and Technical Certification at Broadcom. Drew leads sales tooling, certification, and learning for the VCF division. And so today we're going to talk about an exciting moment for the VMware community, brand new certifications for VCF, the VCF Automation and VCF Operations VCAPs, plus the latest VCDX certification. Drew, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Taka. Really excited to be here and talk about what we're doing in VCF certifications right now.
Awesome. All right, so let's start with the big picture. So why are these new VCAPs and VCDX certifications coming out now? Especially from a VCF automation context, what's changed in the industry that makes these so timely?
It's a great question. I think there are three major shifts going on right now. One, every enterprise is racing to modernize, whether that's Kubernetes, AI, cloud native apps. This isn't future tech anymore. This is real time. This is production. And this is where things like VCF automation really shine. Number two, there is a skills gap out there. For a long time, being a VI admin and understanding vSphere was enough, but there is a move to a cloud operating model. And as VCF, we are doubling down on a private cloud operating model. And this is not just a title change. This is really a much different way of administrating, architecting, and supporting VMware technologies. And automation and operations are a key part of that to make the real-time business requirements a reality and have that agility that they require. And third, Broadcom is doubling down as VCF as the private cloud standard. And the people who get up to speed on VCF and on the platform are going to be the ones who define what the modern private cloud will look like in the enterprise and across our customer base. And in this context, the new certifications that we are releasing are really the key way to validate those skills and prove to employers that, hey, I have the skills to run these private clouds, but also to be able to have things like career acceleration and other things.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, can you explain, how these new certifications relate to each other? Where does the VCAP, VCF automation fit, and how does it connect to VCDX?
Sure. So the best way to think of VMware certification now is like a career ladder. You start with your VCPs or VMware certified professionals, and those are across three different roles. You'll do either VCF at an architect level, at a implementer and admin level, or at a support level. And think of these as an inch deep and a mile wide. We're looking for a broad platform knowledge across VCF so that you can say, look, I've got this understanding of the platform. Once we've gotten you certified on the platform, this is where we move to the VCAP or the VM or Certified Advanced Professional. This is where automation lives because in this place, we are going to be going and looking at technology disciplines, storage, networking, automation, operations, Kubernetes, as well as private AI. And then from there, then the next level after that is the VCDX or the VMware Certified Distinguished Expert. And that is really the place where you're going to go to say, look, I am the best of the best. We are going to measure you with a live defense and advanced skills testing to prove and to certify that you are at the forefront of our certified professionals, but also being able to run that modern private cloud. And when you get into that VCDX level, there's also a number of new benefits compared to what we were doing previously about access to product roadmaps, access to our product management teams and our advisory boards to be able to shape and influence where the product is going, but also key opportunities with organizations like VMUG and at Explore to be able to speak and to be able to really put your brand out there aligned with where VCF and the modern private cloud is going.
Hmm. All right. So it sounds like there's a progression. The progression is you take first have that foundational level, and then you progress to that VCAP, which has more kind of the hands-on advanced skills, and then finally the VCDX, where you kind of have that architectural mastery. Each one kind of building on the last. Got it.
And think of it as crawl, walk, run.
Yeah, yeah. Crawl, walk, in. Perfect. Okay. Next, let's talk a little bit something about, how what our audiences care about, career impact. So, if there's a VI admin out there today, why should they actually pursue the VCAP, for VCF automation certification specifically? What kind of doors does it open for them?
Well, let's just cut really to the chase here, Taka, in that certification is the bar and the measurement which organizations will look at IT professionals and say, can or can they not, in many cases, do the job? And first, in just, I've been in the certification game now over 2 decades. And while it is a vicious cycle in the sense that you are always having to keep up with technology, keep up with the latest certs, certification in many situations can be the difference between getting hired or not,
Hmm.
because it's a very easy way to measure, do these candidates meet our requirements, and are they able to operate the technology that drives our business? And really now, being able to certify and prove yourself is a lot more than pressing buttons and running individual pieces of software. You're running a platform now, and
Hmm.
that requires things like automation. Second, when you're certified, you're no longer just competing with VI admins. You're looking at competing with cloud admins, platform engineers. That pay grade's significantly higher than the IT admins. And in those roles, you're solving business problems.
Hmm.
You're not just operating technology, and there's a time to market requirement in those roles, and also an expectation that you are driving agility, which things like VCF automation and the VCAPs that we just released for that not only prove that you can do it, but also certify that, look, I'm in good hands to be able to operate the VCF modern private cloud. Third, you're future proofed. I mean, VCF automation is how you are building private cloud. It is the core piece of technology that gives you that elastic on-premise cloud operating model that everybody so desperately wants. And if you're certified and experienced in this, you have less worries about becoming obsolete, because you are at the forefront of that cloud operations model. And finally, it sets you on the path for VCDX.
Hmm.
Once you've operated in that VCAP space and you've certified there, I mean, you're one step away from a VCDX. And with the VCDX, not only have we, revamped it and reimagined it, originally it used to be very design focused, but we've also opened up and democratized it now to include administrative professionals as well as support professionals. So you have a lot of options, not only within the automation space and operating that cloud, but also to further prove yourself as an expert.
Agree, agree. Yeah, those are definitely, really tangible benefits. And I'm sure, many of our listeners have been, managing vSphere for many years. So some of them, some people might out be, thinking, hey, I know vSphere inside out. Why do I need to take another certification? How would you respond to that?
I think vSphere has set you on a very good foundation, uh, but I would say you're halfway there.
Hmm.
I mean, we are looking at VCF and as a platform and as a cloud operating model. And this is about self-service consumption. And the gateway to that is through automation.
Hmm.
So the technology has changed, and your vSphere skills obviously will serve you very well, but you're no longer just running infrastructure in these individual silos, or essentially saying, oh, well, so and so's consuming this piece of infrastructure or that piece of infrastructure. It's like, no, all these things have come together now. I mean, if you think of the old model, it used to be you just, submit a ticket for, I don't know, let's pick on Kubernetes for a minute, Taka. Hey, I'll throw a ticket in. I'm a developer and I just want a few containers or some type of environment. And the ticket goes into the machine and, eventually it comes out. I mean, developer experience now, they want self-service automation. They want to go into interface. It's like, hey, I provision my environment, I move on. Again, automation is the key to that, but also an understanding of the overall VCF platform at a very technical level is also what is absolutely required. Historically, I would also argue that automation was not necessarily a vSphere skill.
Yeah.
It was very much, you were, running the administration of the vSphere environment. So think of it this way. If you know vSphere, you are operationally solid. But once you get to the next level with VCAP, VCF for automation, that is what makes you strategically valuable because you're operating that private cloud and you're getting the organization in a place where technology is not a blocker, it's an enabler, whether you're a developer or whether you're on the business side and you're working on more on revenue generation.
Yep, 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 yep. Boom, you could do a mic drop there. I'm sold. All right. Um, so now let's talk a little bit about, AI and Kubernetes, because I know these matter to our audience. How does VCF automation and these certifications tie into AI workloads and container orchestration?
Taka, this is where things get really interesting because AI is no longer theoretical anymore. It's definitely production.
Mhm.
Enterprises are running large LLMs, they're training models, they're doing inference. But here's the problem. AI workloads need a lot of GPUs, specialized networking, massive data throughput, and developers, they need the infrastructure now, not in weeks, not in hours, but literally when they think about it. And VCF automation is what solves this for you because you can design self-service catalogs around AI workstations and Kubernetes clusters. And it's essentially you configure it once along with the right GPUs and the right services, and developers are off automating and self-provisioning on their own. The same applies to Kubernetes. Now with VCF and then vSphere Kubernetes service, which I believe is CNCF certified, running natively on vSphere, automation also makes that super easy to deploy and super easy to automate as well. And with the VCAP automation certification, again, once again, it proves you can run this. So whether you're chasing AI or Kubernetes, automation and the certification around it are just absolutely essential to being able to prove that you can operate that private cloud operating model for that.
Agree, agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what enterprises need. And, that's why getting this certification right now is so valuable. Okay, so last question. What would you say to someone who's on the fence? Maybe they're thinking, I'm comfortable where I am. Do I really need to certify?
I think it depends on if you want to be relevant or not. That's the question you have to ask yourself. And I don't mean to be so blunt, but as I hinted earlier, certification in technology can just be a vicious cycle. And what got you here isn't necessarily what is going to get you there. But with the new VCF certifications, we're here to help you and to grow your career to make you technologically relevant. And I think, as you look in about a year or two, you're going to see a lot of job postings with platform knowledge, automation knowledge, operations skills. And, if you love infrastructure and you love solving problems and you want to take part of a certification in a community that's going to have new benefits and outcomes, this is the place for you. I mean, we have really spent the last year reimagining what certification looks like. And so if you want to be a part of that, this is your place and come join us.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Um, so that's a really great note to end on. Thanks, Drew, for helping us, understand the new certifications.
Oh, great to be here. And, check out the VMware certification website for more information. We're publishing new exams all the time. And stay tuned for more information on VCDX.
Perfect call to action, Drew. And for our listeners today, hope this helped. These certifications, they aren't about checking boxes. They're about positioning yourself at the forefront of where infrastructure is heading. And VCF automation is how enterprises are delivering private cloud today and tomorrow. So whether you go for the VCAP or you push all the way to VCDX, you're making a smart bet on your career. And so the market absolutely needs people with these skills. And so we hope you'll join us with this journey. All right. Hope you all like this episode, and please join us for our next one. This is your host, Tako Inishi, signing off. Have an awesome week, and see you until next time. Bye.